Okay, well, Scott, you're the expert, so tell us what's the biggest challenge to getting started with Airbnb?
Good question, Mike. Airbnb covers a lot of categories when you set up your site. You have to cover your pricing, you have to cover your calendar availability, you have to typically coordinate with your housekeepers. You have to understand, what the price point is within the marketplace that you want to get set up with. If you've not worked with Airbnb before, the site has a lot of nuances that there are a lot of gotchas in there that you have to watch out for, setting up weekend pricing versus setting up weekday pricing, holiday and 3-day weekend pricing. So really it's a challenge if you've not done it before to know all the different aspects of the site to go through to get your site set up correctly. And do you want to take instant book where people can book and show up today, or do you want to give yourself 2 or 3 days lead time? So without knowing the site inside and out, for a new user, it can be a little bit daunting because there's so many areas that can trip you up, which is why it's often beneficial to work with somebody who is actually set up to manage various Airbnb properties before.
Well, we're really in a new era of real estate, so how can Airbnb benefit the individual homeowner or renter?
Yeah, so the benefit now is you can turn your home into a cash flow engine if you own your home or even if you rent your home. So Airbnb could help offset your mortgage. It could help set up your college fund. It help cover your vacations. So basically, Airbnb is a nice passive income play that homeowners or renters can leverage if they're not currently doing so, to drive some additional income into their monthly P&L. You can turn it on and turn it off as you wish. So you can rent your place out every day of the month. You could only rent it out every other weekend. You could just rent it out every other month if you like. It's very easy once you get your site set up to manage your calendar so that you can kind of turn on and off that income faucet as you see fit and as you are available. And if you're not available, one of the beauties of Airbnb is if you're traveling but you want to put your place up on Airbnb while you're traveling, you could also leverage the Airbnb co-host option. Maybe you have a friend or a family member or a business associate who is going to be around who can manage your place in your absence while you're traveling and unavailable.
Now, for the traveler, what's the benefit of Airbnb rentals over a traditional hotel?
I traveled extensively for work in my career in corporate America, and what I learned was that the life of the traveler isn't always as sexy as you might think it is. You've got noisy hotels, you've got ice machines, you've got kids running up and down hotel hallways. It's just not as peaceful of a travel experience as you would like. Typically, with an Airbnb rental, you're going to get a nice home. You're going to have access to a kitchen. You're going to have access to a living room. You have your own room. You have much more space to settle down in, and you have a much more, typically quiet, serene area to work within than you're going to be used to when you travel in a hotel, which can be just typically a lot noisier. There's a lot more people, a lot more hustle and bustle. So, renting somebody's home space is typically going to give you just a lot more peace of mind and a lot calmer, more serene travel experience than you're going to get in a hotel.
And what have you learned about how I can best determine pricing for my own real estate, my own place?
It kind of gets down to real estate's location, location, location. So a lot of your pricing is going to come down to where you're located. Are you located near a freeway? Are you located near a winery? Are you located near an area where people like to vacation? You also need to take a look at your space. How big is your space? Are you renting out just a single room? Are you renting out your entire place? And then you could also take a look at what are the local hotels going for in the area, because I typically like to price my places consistently with what a hotel is going for and what are some other places on Airbnb in the local area going for. So you take all these factors into consideration to really kind of round out your pricing and put yourself in a position where you're going to be attracting a good quality guest with competitive pricing.
Now, what if I don't have the time or maybe just the interest to manage my own Airbnb listing? Can I outsource the management of the site to somebody like you and take advantage of all of your experience?
Yes, you can, and often that's the easiest way to go. I mean, people are very busy, right? So everybody wants to drive additional income in some way, shape, or form, right? Everybody has their bills to pay and their college funds to pay for, vacations they want to pay for. Not everybody has the time to interact with guests, to coordinate with housekeepers, to manage the calendar, to put up the Airbnb site, to keep the site maintained. So you could outsource all that to somebody like myself. There's not a lot of people who do it, but that we are out there, where I basically handle all the elements of managing your Airbnb site for you. And then we come up with an agreement whereby I take a certain percentage of the monthly, nightly rate, and you take a percentage of the nightly rate. So my percentage split is typically 75-25. 75% goes to the owner, 25% goes to myself, and then I handle it all for you, and you just get the benefits of having that nice income stream without having to do a whole lot of work around driving the income or managing the guest interaction process.
Since real estate is real estate and every piece of real estate is different, how can I learn more from you about my own individual piece of real estate, if it will work with Airbnb and what it will take and what I can expect? So in other words, can I contact you personally about my property? And if so, how do I do that?
Yeah, you can. I do offer a consulting session free of charge for about a half an hour. I'd be happy to kind of assess, your property location, your own personal needs, what your requirements and interests are. And then if we have an interest in working together, there's a flat fee that you can pay me to either, get your site all set up so I can stand up the entire model, get your pictures going, get your advertising going, get your calendar squared away, get your welcome packet squared away, and hand all that over to you, and then you manage it after it's all set up. Or you could outsource the entire process to me, as I mentioned earlier, and then I just take a percentage of the nightly rate. So either way, and many people are quite busy and they just don't have an interest in managing the day-to-day process, you can hand that off to me and I can handle it all for you.
Well, with those two great options, it seems like the only way you could lose is to not take advantage of them. So, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can reach me at springboardrentals.com. You could also reach me on my mobile at 925-588-9194 or via email at springboardrentals@gmail.com.
Sounds simple. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mike.